In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Franklin Township Environmental Commission was made by posting on the bulletin board and the municipal buildings, posted on the Township website, and electronically transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, indicating that this meeting would take place in person at 7 p.m. on January 2nd. June 2nd. I wrote it down here. I had to read it.
Somebody's listening.
I just came in. We had 175 people. Okay, we'll do roll call, right? Roll call. Roll call. Okay. Walker Andrews? Here. Ted Chase is not here yet. Easy's not here. Ellen?
Yes. Easy's not coming. That's who's not coming.
Okay.
He let me know that.
Okay. Stan?
Present.
Arnold?
Here.
Robin's not here yet. Somebody's here. Maria?
Here.
Me? Tara?
That is here. He's walking.
And Ted is here.
Stan,
Yes.
Stan, are you disappointed?
Hello,
Ted.
Hi, Ted. You can hand over your minutes, Ted.
Stan's disappointed.
Oh.
Roll call was just completed.
At 7:04.
He took a moment to catch his breath.
Oh, yeah.
How's the graduation? How's the graduation? Good?
Oh, good.
Good. I'm glad.
Cold.
Yeah.
Well, I know you know about what I'm going to read somewhat, but I don't know if everybody else does. The township has just received notice that the Neasy Pipeline has renewed its application to complete a gas pipeline through New Jersey, utilizing 2 tracks that have not been acquired here in Franklin Township. It appears a battle against the pipeline is to be fought. The entire petition is online on the township website. It should be noted that the pipeline calls a source of the natural gas the Gulf of America. Let that sink in. Because I have here, I was going to read it, the first paragraph of if I have it here. Here it is. The first paragraph. This is from the petition that they put in to the state. Transco is a natural gas pipeline company engaged in the transportation of natural gas in interstate commerce by means of its natural gas transmission system extended from Texas, Louisiana, and the offshore Gulf of America area through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey to its termini in the New York City metropolitan area.
If you want a nice synopsis, a very good report on that without having to read 1,000,000 pages,
Sure, I read a lot of it.
Franklin Advocate, and read his report. He did an excellent job of reporting.
I thought-
Reference as well, so, yeah.
I thought that the phrase Gulf of America said it all. It says, maybe they're what if they're making a contribution to somebody's PAC?
It also crossed my path somehow that the reason why it was renewed, and maybe it was written, because Trump stopped the BOEM project for New York offshore wind.
Oh, right.
And because it was already approved, it's not unlike New Jersey. Whether it was governor of New York or whether it was the provider, they said that it has to be renewed. That it's all buttoned up. They have to build the offshore wind. And so apparently, you know how Trump is transactional.
Right.
So he said, I will let you, but you will allow the Transco pipe on the New York side end. Because both the EP, New Jersey DP, and New York objected against.
Sure.
Right? So now it was a transaction that New York will allow that portion because Trump allowed the offshore wind, which leaves New Jersey without any transaction.
And I remember from last time, what they want to do is build a connector, compressor type place at Trap Rock. That's what people were looking at. If I remember right, it was Trap Rock. Yeah. No, actually, I had more to say than just this one, but I wanted to get that one out. And I want to mention the Onyx proposal for erecting a warehouse opposite the rear entrance to Somerset Run will be held in July. The previous meeting concentrated on the Buckeye pipelines running through the site. The petitioners agreed to meet all of the proposed requirements of Buckeye. Next meeting will concentrate on the requirements of the township. They widened the buffer and put the pipe in. The pipe is now in the middle of the buffer instead of on the edge. And they agreed to take out a concrete pad, which Buckeye didn't want on top of the pipeline. And they would just have soil. And they also moved the building back from the pipeline. So that may pass eventually, I don't know. I want to mention that the B9 proposal is going back to the planning board, this time with instructions from Judge Menon to use legally realistic efforts to come to an agreement that will satisfy all the parties. Unresolved is the issue of 2 driveways versus 3. The township wants 3 driveways to separate the truck traffic from the cars. And they want to have a central driveway that will have cars plus the trucks. The problem if they do that is the rule is that the trucks coming out can only make a right turn and go in Schoolhouse and then down Randolph or Cottontail to the 27. If they do 3 driveways, then the two little parking lots will have cars only. The middle one would be trucks only, and they can configure the exit so that the trucks have to go to the right and can't go to the left. So that's going to be the one bone of contention for the B9 warehouse, amongst other stuff that they'll agree to. But the HOA attorney, Howard Cohn, was mentioned in the judge's ruling, and he mentioned that his approach to mitigation was legally realistic, and that's what the planning board should be doing. I mean, the planning board voted 9-0 to say no, and he ripped that apart. So that's my minutes for my report. Okay, so we need a motion to approve the minutes from the May 19th. Any changes or corrections? Arnie, Stan, anybody?
I wasn't at the meeting, so.
I have here at the end, it says, "Stop the stop. It is reported that Senator Smith will introduce legislation including this." Can you say, instead of "it is," that's "then reported"?
However you want to put it. Yeah.
You were just quoting somebody else.
You have very good memory.
That's why I put it that way.
Gotcha.
So either it was meant like that, or State made a reference that Robin,
Oh,
who attended the Sustainable Jersey Summit,
well, you were reporting on Robin.
that she mentioned that he will, he's pursuing this.
I don't know how she heard it.
She was there. She attended the session. I was not
Yeah.
available.
But I mean, did Smith say this directly in her hearing, or was this somebody else telling her?
He said that. That's what she told me. But I feel like we just leave it as this. Okay, that's fair enough. What was the other comment? Oh yeah. Yes. And I guess you have maybe better memory. Did I report when I was last time here that the fundraiser for the lawn signs in Franklin High School that my daughter was handling, that they collected $126 for the lawn signs?
Well, we gave her money here. That's what we gave her money.
Yeah.
I don't think you reported that last time. I don't remember
so
hearing
It
that.
was my fault that I forgot it. Okay.
You can report it this time if you want.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, it could be in this.
Then it means that I don't have any comment. It's just my memory.
So all accept the minutes with the approved?
Aye.
Minutes approved. Public comment, we'll take a motion to open the store to public. All in favor? Aye. Jan, did you want to say anything?
I did, how did you know?
You can.
Okay, Jan Brandt, 22 Bryant Court. So I wanted to, I figured this was the best place to present this, but there was B9 sent in materials for a flood hazard area verification. And they got that approved. And we had, after the fact, and this was according to the drawing, so after the fact, we just had our water person like look at this floodwater verification that B9 approved. And so I wanted to, and I wanted to give it to you all. I just don't have one copy, but here you can have it. And I don't know who's an expert at flood hazard, but wanted to say what this flood hazard indicates. The new FHA boundary on the site plans is in red, and it was approved June 13, 2024, and would supersede the prior delineation that was shown in the 2023 site plans. And this means how it affects B9, and I don't know, because the judge approved B9 and said, everything's fine, just go ahead, and kind of disregarded a lot of different information. What this tells us, this delineation from the stormwater expert, that the dam that's proposed with the proposed constructed wetlands basin E falls within the new FHA boundary from 2024 and would be required to obtain a flood hazard area individual discharge permit for the discharge, and the firm would likely need to be modified to reduce the fill-in of the regulated flood hazard zone. There's also a potential that the stormwater basin will be required to comply with the new stormwater rules, since the FHA boundary now includes portions of the basin as well. So this is all, what's been submitted, was a while ago to the court and all. And they said everything has been approved. However, this is something that's different. And the other thing that they keep saying that's been approved, B9 keeps saying that's approved, is the DRCC. And we all know that the DRCC approval doesn't come in until after everything's done. And the judge kept emphasizing how the DRCC has approved this, which is in fact false. Unless you tell me differently, you guys are more of an expert than I would know with that. But I'm just wondering if, this can be passed along. I figure you are all the best people to pass this information. And if you need anything else as far as the person who did this up, it was our stormwater, expert for B9. So that was number one.
Before you go on to the next thing, is this, does this go back to the planning board, or is this a decision on the township level now?
Well, I think it somehow has to.
Pardon me?
It goes back to the planning board. The judge said to the planning. Yeah,
So if it goes back to the
specifically.
planning board, then
Well, see,
maybe,
Go ahead, what were you going to say?
I was just gonna say, if it goes back to the planning board, then maybe that's one you wanna go to a planning board meeting and bring it up to them.
Okay, all right. I spoke with someone the other day who said that, and I don't know if this is true, but right now the attorneys have the list of what they're negotiating and whatnot with B9, and they haven't given it to B9 yet. So I was just worried, like, when's the next planning board meeting? And if they're really doing these things right now, like, time is of the essence, So I was wondering, if somebody could look at it and see. But I think the next planning board meeting isn't till 2 weeks, not this week, but it would be.
Well, just because it's this week or next week doesn't mean that B9 is on the agenda for it.
Right, I mean, B9 is not on the agenda. But if you think it's better, I just go to Mark Healy and give it to him.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, then I'll do that. Okay, all right, then I'll do that tomorrow. And as far as the DRCC, is there a DRCC approval?
I just looked it up on the website just because I was like, I actually don't know. But it's, can my application for an individual approval be voted on by the commission before it receives municipal approval? No, the DRCC and commission's regulations specifically require that a proposed project must obtain a memorialized resolution of approval issued by the municipal and county approving agencies.
They won't approve it until the township does.
Right, that's what I've always learned. So, B9 keeps saying we've gotten all our approvals, including the flood hazard and the DRCC. And in fact, it seems to be they really haven't gotten all their approvals, but that the judge, in the judgment, one of the things that the judge mentions is that they have the DRCC approval in his judgment.
Well, the way they word it, they say, we approve it pending the township. So that's how he takes the wording out. It says, they say we approved it, but it waits until to go into effect.
Right, so,
For the township.
right, so they really shouldn't be saying it was approved already, right? So that's,
Normally, it's just a matter of course that happens, but.
right, but it.
Yes,
but
it says, can the commission review my project while I pursue approval? Yes, an application is not considered to be administratively complete until the commission staff obtains county and municipal approvals. However, the commission can review technical aspects while the applicant pursues. So probably what happened is they probably maybe received something that says like you've completed all of your technical requirements from DRCC, but we can't approve it until.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean, I have their report, in fact.
Okay, got it.
And they didn't approve it, and one of the, also an additional problem, and you guys, I don't know if this makes a difference, but one of the things, they do have a say in traffic, and they weren't concerned about the traffic because of the ordinances that have been passed as far as the weight limit of traffic on Schoolhouse Road and Metlers Road, when in fact we learned at last week's Township Council meeting, trucks are exempt from that weight limit on Schoolhouse and Metlers if they're making a pickup or delivery. So it's not like they're totally banned from going down Schoolhouse and Metlers Road according to this ordinance, but the DRCC is saying, we're not worried about it because no trucks are allowed on these roads, so we're not going to opine on this part.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was thinking I'd reach out to the DRCC about that. I don't know if you guys have any opinions on that as well, but,
Okay.
yeah. But, all right, well, I will go to the township, to the planning board and ask them. And then I wanted to, one of the things when I was reviewing things, and I don't know if you all have any information on this, but it's about the underground stormwater systems having to be rated HS20 loading for aerial ladder trucks. You guys know anything about this, or should I go to the planning board about this too?
I'm sort of planning that, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that. Sorry.
Thank you all.
Okay.
That's John Howe. What? John Howe. Okay.
House, fire.
That's fire, no.
Thank you.
Okay, motion to close the comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I actually got into the mailbox, the township helped me do that. There was one letter which I turned back to them because it was the bank account that said we had $100,000 in the bank. So I gave it to Anne Marie, and she will give it to the finance department. That's some PNC Bank keeps sending us a monthly statement. So that's the only correspondence I had.
Oh, I have some email correspondence.
Okay.
So the first is, hang on, that's an email from me. Nope. Oh, we don't need this up anymore. Okay. So we got an email from someone's email address was homedad732. And it says, while searching for a way to recycle styrofoam packaging, I came across a company, Foam Cycle, that offers a system that some local governments in New Jersey and around the country are using to offer styrofoam recycling to residents. I thought it would be great if we could have one here in Franklin, perhaps at the convenience center. It seems the end product can be sold, and their website has a link to a DEP recycling grant. Is it a possibility?
We are in Canal Walk recycling styrofoam blocks and such to a place that makes picture frames.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
the temple in Hillsborough is the one that put us onto it because them and Princeton have been taking their stuff there also.
Okay.
I mean, I can write back to them and
We
say,
have policy on anonymous emails because this is pretty much anonymous.
yeah.
I mean, the township could certainly do that, but I know there is a place that is taking that stuff.
I mean, I could write back to them and say, you know, what do you think, that we can look into this? Thanks for the suggestion.
Recycle.com.
I think we filled up a dumpster last time. With,
Oh, wow.
styrofoam blocks.
Okay, I'm just gonna write back, thank you for your suggestion. And I will look into the grant he's talking about. If DEP has a grant, I can at least look into it.
So yes, you do it.
I will, I'll look into it.
Was that the only?
No, there's one more.
Okay.
Hang on one
It's
second.
possible that it will be just one of those that Somerville is using, Princeton.
Could be. I'll look into it and see, why
I
not?
don't think there are too many of them because
Yeah. We got one more from Shayla Casco, and she is the watershed ambassador for NJDEP. She wants to see if we'd like to partner on a project to create pet waste stations in our parks to combat any cyanobacteria blooms. I'm working alongside the Water Supply Authority to have the project done by July. I already have the materials. I just need a park recommendation that the Environmental Commission thinks is in need of pet waste stations. And confirmation from DPW would be willing to upkeep the pet waste stations, such as replenishing the bags and throwing away waste. Please let me know if you have any questions. Right, that's what, well, I'd have to get confirmation from Carl if this is something. So basically, they're the DEP's watershed ambassador. They would like to put pet waste stations in. They have the materials. They just would like to know if we want to partner with them, and if so, what park do we think would be best? And then DPW would have to be in charge of filling the pet waste stations.
The one that makes a lot of sense would be the county park, because they have a dog park there.
They have pet waste
Colonial.
stations.
Oh, they do have
They
pet-
do. They have a bunch there at that dog park.
you're talking about Middlebush or Enmont.
It would either be, say Middlebush or Inman. Probably Middlebush would make the most sense in all honesty.
They are talking about one.
She said pet waste station, so I can ask her.
If I could,
Yeah.
it was my idea to bring to the board when I was still on it, to get pet waste stations for my condo community. Some people on the board were resistant, but we got them. The landscaper on the board, he didn't like it because the station has the top of it where you get the rolls for the waste, and underneath it there was a basket where you dispose of your filled rolls with the animal waste. Oh, I don't want to, dispose of them. We didn't use the baskets, but we're a small community, so everybody now knows, and we have one on each of our 17 buildings in the breezeway, that everybody grabs a bag, they go around, they pick up the waste, and you walk by the dumpster. So it's like maybe, if you make it easy for people, it's like maybe just refilling the bags, but nobody's handling the waste except the dog owner. If it's near a dumpster, they can just dump it in. That was our solution.
Right, that makes sense.
And it's been working, and I have to say, because they used to do a lot, I called it a fecal minefield around my end of the building, and it's gone now.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't.
It is true. If you make it easy for people, you're right about that.
Yes.
I know at the county park where they have the pet waste stations, there's garbage cans like right basically next to the pet waste station.
Make it easy, and you'll pretty much get compliance.
The question is, so do you want me to reach out to DPW and see if they'd be willing to fill up to deal with this basically?
Well, they tell you no. I think we need to get buy-in from Bob Barlocker.
Right. Oh yeah, we have to check with them. All right. I'm just writing notes to myself. I'll leave this email up. Would be the best options. I just want to ask her. We want to ask her too. How many stations, right? How many stations?
The hours, they have 3 slots, so you can have 3 rolls in there, but we're a condo community, smaller than a park, but
And what is the footprint of it?
I think they're just like, you know how like they stand up, it looks like almost like a little bird feeder almost. It's like on a stick and it's like, you know, up in the air and has just the bags inside of
We're
it.
talking about which park, but you know, I go to Inman quite often, and it has kind of 2 parking
Yes,
areas. So we're talking about maybe two locations.
probably, yeah.
If we choose, or just in general multiple. So the question would be, how much are they willing to pay, or do they expect that the township will pay for them, or just maintain?
Maintain and refill the bag. So basically, but if you put a pet waste station there, we have to make sure that DPW will refill them because a pet waste station without any of the bags in it is completely useless.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So that's, we need, and garbage can, you know? So I'm just gonna say, yeah, before I can give you the final answer, I need to speak with DPW, right? And get approval from our township manager. Get it right? Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right, that's it.
Okay. Are there any site plans?
There were no site plans.
No site plans?
Now, last time we did a bunch,
We
so
did.
we actually got ahead last time. There are no site plans this time.
The next thing on the agenda is a resolution about the Blackwell Mills Dam.
So at the last meeting, we had a presentation from Jim Waltman about the removal of the Blackwell Mills Dam.
Right.
And why it was important because of the shad and how they're kind of a marker fish for the whole aquatic community and the water quality. So he wants us to, on behalf, you know, the watershed, I should say, wants us to submit a resolution basically supporting the removal of the Blackwell Mills Dam.
Right.
So Ted worked with Jim on putting together the resolution, which I emailed out as part of the email of the agenda. So that's what we're looking to do basically, is pass this resolution, send it to the township council, and then they can decide if they want to do the same.
I'll make a motion to pass the resolution as is.
Second? This is the resolution that we have. As I remember, the holdup of getting rid of the Blackwell bill that we heard last time was a gauge that measures the depth of the water to flow. And that's why,
The USGS,
Yeah,
they were
USGS.
saying that they would have a problem with their monitoring station there, but they basically found out through research that there is a way they can still use that monitoring station even with the dam removed, so.
yeah. So, I would recommend, that we do this motion, resolution, but,
Arnie made a motion, Walter seconded it,
so we're all set.
Yeah.
All we'll have to do is take a vote.
Yep.
Or has anybody got any more discussion on this?
Can you scroll a little bit down?
What? I'll scroll it down.
I did, yep, just let me know when you're ready to.
So we have to put Franklin.
Yeah, I'll put in the correct resolution
Right.
format and everything
Okay.
once we're ready to go.
Right.
So did we vote?
Not yet. All in favor?
Okay,
Yes.
excellent. All right, so I'll take care of that, send it in.
Okay. Okay. And then it says committee reports. Marie, is there anything from your side?
From my end, the only thing that I have on the table was, like maybe 3 weeks ago or a month, the article. And you think it could be published?
Oh, the article about the increases from TSC&G. Who was reviewing that last? The communications committee?
They gave, everybody they gave the okay.
Everyone gave you okay. Okay, so where do you want that sent to?
Times, maybe, perhaps?
Council.
Or you think another venue is,
Well, so the Franklin Times is as far as I understand, a little behind. So I don't think that's going out anytime soon. You could send it to Franklin Reporter and see if they'd be willing to publish it. We can put it on our website if you want. We can put it on our website. We can put a link to it on social media. Do you want me to do that? That I can do.
Nixel?
So I can send, like, one of you guys has to send it to Franklin Times, yeah, and see if he's willing, if he would like to publish it.
You want to publish it? Sorry.
He has to read it first, yeah.
Just say yes.
It's a resolution that the Blackwell Mills Dam should be removed.
No, this is for an article Maria's
Oh, that's the
talking
article,
about.
not Blackwell.
Ooh. It's an article about how PSE&G is going to be increasing their prices in June and things you can do to kind of conserve energy and, yeah, we'll send it.
Changes. And then put the
We can put it on our website and social media.
I mean, if you
the
want,
Franklin Environmental Commission.
Well, it's gotta have a name attached to it, it can't be just a junk.
Alright.
So it can be from you. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
I mean, if you want to write an article about the Blackwell Mills Dam, you can do that too.
I will post the article on our environmental commission website and on social media. This way you can, we have that up there. So as long as everyone's good with it, I'll do that.
And then now I'm remembering, I send information about, not to everyone, I think some of you, the days light out. That's something that we can do
Yes,
in
you
July or
did.
August.
On the lights out, yes, you did. We have to talk about that more, yeah. We can put it on the next agenda, is that okay?
Sure.
All right.
That's the Lights Out program that's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I gotta add that to the next EC
I
agenda.
might even have a T-shirt that says Lights Out or something.
Oh, yeah.
A long time ago.
Okay, we'll add it to the next agenda, Maria. Okay, perfect.
From Communications Committee, the article that Jenny wrote on calling for volunteers, student volunteers to the Environmental Commission was released. Volunteers.
Oh, good,
Fantastically written.
good.
Very inspirational, so, very lucky that
Great.
for us, and she continues to be in touch with us,
Good.
even though she's in Maine now.
Uh-huh.
She didn't go to college there? Which,
No, she's on some short-term assignment in Acadia.
yeah.
It is through, yes, it is through a federally funded program. Go
Okay.
figure.
And it still exists.
Yeah.
Okay.
She actually sent an email a couple days ago, that she still has 12 signs. She was asking what to do with them. When she says she has, it means that it's here in Somerset. She mentioned that she noticed one of the lawn signs was on Martino Drive, which is kind of in her area, but she didn't put it there. It's for curiosity who put it there, but.
It was probably me.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Probably
Near, just outside my condo community. I didn't want to alarm my president who's.
Okay. Last time you reported that you lost it and then you found it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was gone, and then I found it, evidently it blew over, whatever, I found it, and now I have it parallel to the street with, about leave the leaves. So on the reverse side to the sidewalk, and the property is the other thing. And it's still there, it was there.
Do you want to have the sign all year long or only for campaigns? Because I thought that the original idea was that one side is for the No Mow campaign.
Right.
The other would be for Leave the Leaves, and in between I would rather, so that it doesn't become a background, if it's.
Okay, so I should bring it in, and you'll tell me when to put it back out again.
Yeah, well, when people start raking leaves, then you put
Okay.
it up and people start thinking differently. the new
Somebody
sign.
noticed it on Martino.
Well, that's the author, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think the signs will survive in winter.
that's another, of course.
Right.
But I wouldn't leave it on during summer because the UV light will.
The signs have a specific,
In the spring, you'd have the sign up until you mow, and then
Right.
there's no point. Well, first of all, you have to get it out of the way of mowing, but that's the point at which you would take it down in the spring.
Yes.
Fall.
And speaking of the campaign, I don't know whether I reported previously, but when Jenny sent email about her observation, it kind of corroborated mine that this season was somewhat slower, and the grass and the blooming actually continued a little bit later after the Earth Day. It doesn't mean that we have to immediately change the way how we market the campaign, but it's just something interesting because I was doing this project for now third year or so, and so I did notice that the mowing was when it happened, it was not the grass was not as tall. It's just observation.
Basically, you want to hold mowing until after the flowers have flowered, which is what I did.
Yeah. And you also you reported on Tennessee, right? Was it you? Yeah. Tennessee is doing no more May, but Tennessee is warmer state than us.
Right.
And they're doing May, and we were debating why, and it's probably because they just copied it from Midwest states without thinking about it. So I think that our concept
maybe
is
that
making
their
better.
flowers flower later. You don't know. But they have that flowers later.
We actually held off at Canal Walk because of the weather. The grass was getting higher, but they held off. It just wasn't reasonable to mow the way they were doing. Now they're mowing. But,
Yeah. Now, I guess that's all from the communication committee.
Right. Now,
Can I add one thing to the communications committee? I received a request and I ran it by the communications committee. Let me see if I have my email up about it. If not, I could
Before
just.
you find it, so the other outstanding point was that my daughter, being a chair of the Franklin High School Environmental Club, was engaged in fundraiser for the lawn signs, and she was able to collect $126 that we passed to Kafa's family, who was the primary who incurred the cost. Make it official, yeah.
so
Excellent.
Chipped in. I think she was surprised when I gave her $5.
And you have seen how my daughter was raising money. She made recycled paper from scrap paper.
Yes.
I thought it was innovative. Bragging
Of course. Well, yeah, so that's good. She deserves it. That sounds really good. The one thing I wanted to add is I did get in, of course I can't pull it up right now, but I did get an email from Rutgers about their intern program. So, in the past we've worked with interns here. So Professor Dan Van Abs, he was the person that was running that intern program for a long time, and he retired about a little over a year ago. So now the program is up and running under a new professor. And so she reached out and was like, would you guys be interested in having an intern? It's kind of the same thing as last time, 125 hours. They're undergrads. But the little difference that they're looking to do is this class, it's not just ecology like it was before. It's really more of like an environmental conservation and promotion kind of intern. So they're also really interested in working with helping us with communication, social media, writing articles, things like that. So I ran it by the communications committee to see if the intern if I would be interested. You guys said yes, you'd be interested in that. the one concern was what if there's not enough for them to do for 125 hours, which I'm sure there would be, but if there wasn't, the intern could also help the Trails Advisory Committee because they need help too with things like that. So the deadline to put in the proposal is July 1st. So I think I will put it in and we'll see if we get any interested interns. Yeah, which would be great. Yeah, and if we do get an intern when they're here, we should really, if there's like articles that we want to have on hold or whatever, we should.
And I think that last time I made this comment that we are looking for a junior member, and there is also internship position, right? And I think that there is overlap, and maybe that student, we can maybe empower them a little bit more to come up with ideas.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, and really, that's more from their perspective. They should be coming up with ideas, the intern, because they're getting credit for it. You know, it's a 5-credit class, so, yeah.
So that would
Okay.
2 flies with 1 slap.
Yes, I like that one. I never heard that one. I usually say 2 birds
In
with
my
1
language,
stone.
we have 7.
Ah, okay. I like it. I like it.
Because there is also a story of a guy who had a low piece of bread with marmalade or something, and flies were on it, and he just left.
Wow.
And he counted, and he killed 7 flies.
Okay, I like it. It's interesting. Okay, thank you.
On hot topics, I want to raise the question as I opened the meeting with, about the pipeline. Do we want to get involved, as we did some last time? We did do a resolution, which we sent in.
I guess Linda is quite.
Linda Powell, yes. So that's something to think about. I didn't go to see what.
We can do.
Yeah.
I would think that Linda will at one point approach us, and if she has some kind of resolution,
Okay.
then we can handle the resolution.
Maybe we'll get in touch with her and see where she is. I'm sure she's gotten the news.
Oh, yeah, she knows.
We all received actually email that there was.
I read a lot of it, and it said there were 2 tracks in New Jersey were ones that they never got in the first go round. Everything else they had, and that's the ones for the compressor station.
Now they want to fast track it from the federal end. So.
And they got a decent chance of getting there if they make a donation to somebody's PAC.
Maybe Trump will say, we need to approve offshore wind.
I was thinking about that too.
Trade off for the offshore wind to approve the
Approve the pipeline.
pipeline.
Well, probably the point is that maybe Governor Hochul will tell the New York State equivalent of DEP not to raise the water quality objection, which was really the key thing that stopped it before. But,
She already made a deal with Trump for offshore wind.
yeah, that's what it looks like at least. So there's still the New Jersey objection, which was really sort of based on the New York objection, as I recall. The question is whether, firstly, will it stand alone by itself, and secondly, will the state of DEP continue it? I think they probably would. I mean, no gubernatorial candidate right now is going to say they would go ahead, they would withdraw the objection, not try to stop the pipeline. It'd be interesting to see what the candidates do say about this.
Not until after the primaries anyway.
And primary is just, a couple weeks away?
No,
Yes.
Do you think that New Jersey has the way of actually stopping it? Which means that the offshore wind for New York would stand, but the pipe would not?
We were the lone holdout, basically.
Because now,
well, but the New York State water quality objection, which has an do mainly with how deeply how much the pipeline was going to disturb the bottom of Raritan Bay. That was really the key thing. And then New Jersey sort of said, us too.
I think they felt putting the compressor station in the quarry was the safest place for it. But it's
So
still.
it's not in the quarry, it's on quarry-owned land.
That's what it is, yeah.
There's also the question of the access road to it,
That's
which
right.
is sufficiently complicated. I don't
Always
know
get
that I
rights
can
away.
describe it, but the township does have, because the most logical way to have a road into the compressor station would go across the edge of the Higgins farm. But the township, as a result of the Higgins farm being a Superfund site, has some sort of power over the Higgins farm, and has said that it would not permit the farm to be disturbed for
Higgins Farm.
the road into it. And the Williams Transco had originally proposed another route in for the road further up, which would avoid that problem, but which would be almost entirely through wetlands.
How about through the Trap Rock Road? Access road?
There was a road there.
Well, you see, there's a building where there's the pump that keeps pumping groundwater up and running it over activated charcoal and putting it back down again to remove the trichloroethylene that was buried on the Higgins farm. So there's a driveway into that, which is sort of zigzag, and the most logical way to have a driveway to the compressor station would take off from that, but it would go across the edge of the Higgins farm. And
Is that a stripper you're talking about? A stripper? Some kind of a stripper?
yeah, exactly.
I think I'm looking at.
Just the one they have?
There was two sites, they said, in Jersey. And I think both of them were in Franklin Township. But I didn't know where they
Well,
were.
there's
Where the other one?
some down on there was also some things buried down on the farm on Laurel, at the end of Laurel Avenue, which was actually was owned by Elizabeth Higgins, who was the grandmother of everybody, but she died. But that property has been sold now, and they've never, even the DEP they had a plan to pipe from there up to the stripper site, but it was pretty unlikely and has never gone forward. And they haven't done anything else down there.
There is a building there from the satellite image.
Yeah, there's a substantial building in there.
So,
So the access would be right around that building?
Well, the road, the only way I can describe it is the road goes in a ways, and then there's a 90-degree turn, and it goes sort of away from the Higgins farm, and then another 90-degree turn that goes a little further to that building. So you would
Oh, you
take
mean-
off a road from the first point.
I mean
of
from
the first
Georgetown,
90 degree.
from Georgetown Road?
from 518.
Yeah, so there is one left turn and then right angle and then left
Yeah,
turn, right? And then there is the house, right?
There's a
And,
building,
Building.
It's got the pumping
Yeah.
station.
but the station would be further to the forest, no?
The compressor station would be further in,
Yeah.
further from 518.
Yeah, but even further from that building, right? Or around that building?
No, it would not be by the building,
Could be further.
it would be further in.
Well, we'll get a hold of Linda, see what she proposes, and we'll go ahead and work with her if she comes up with something. I think that's probably the approach we're thinking about. It's gonna be a nasty fight. Okay, so that's the only hot topic I had. If anybody else has one, now's the time, or we'll move into old business.
I don't have anything.
A letter from Mayor Kramer.
So the letter went out, I got confirmation from Sustainable Jersey, so the letter from Mayor Kramer went out to,
20,000 copies.
yes, went out to residents, to residential residents, basically saying, our website is up and running and it'll give you ways to save money and ways to conserve energy, so it directed them to our website. So that definitely went out, so we're all set there. The next and last part of our residential energy efficiency campaign grant is to try to hold an outreach event to specifically, explain to people how they can save energy. We talked about having a laptop there so they could use our website, which I think is a great idea. We don't have EZ or Robin here, and I know they're very involved. Yep.
They should help with this. If they have for example, a computer lab,
They could definitely help with it.
outreach, because they reach out to the families and they have what we need, access to the computers.
That's true. They definitely could, absolutely. I'm just wondering if the education, I don't know, Maria, do you think your committee should start planning this or figuring out? Okay.
If they will be, but I will need more details because they're going to ask me.
Yeah, basically we're designing an event. It can be big, it can be small, and it's kind of just to promote our website about saving energy in your home, especially in light of, the PSE&G energy increases. We still have some night lights we can give out, right? We have our banner. We basically say we got this grant. Letters went out from Mayor Kramer. We have our website up and running, and on our website you can click on, what size your household is, what programs are available to you, and kind of help them along. So
they have portable. They have Chromebooks and library and attend.
Right. One thing we can do too is Sustainable Jersey said they do have a contact at PSE&G that can maybe come to the meeting if they're available and talk about PSE&G programs. So if you want to start brainstorming it, maybe we don't have to, there's really no deadline that we have to, hold this event because we've satisfied our requirements from the grant. But that would be the best thing is if we could hold an outreach event just to really get it out there.
What's happening with our Sustainable Jersey submissions?
It's in, just waiting for them to give us their feedback.
Okay, so we made all those deadlines.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That was due May 16th, so we submitted it before then. I think it was a few days before, and we submitted 405 points. So there's no gold, but the highest level is silver, and that's 350.
So we got enough.
Yeah, we submitted.
The gold medals for specific areas.
There is health, water, energy.
So we're trying to get one in health.
So we're trying to get one in health, but there's a little blip. And the blip is that there's a requirement that your Board of Health attends an annual training for and you have to document it for the last few years.
Board of Health.
Well, we have an advisory Board of Health, and they have not attended this training. So
Technically, the council is the board of health.
technically, and they have not attended the training.
Certainly have not attended.
So that we have everything else, but we don't have that training. I asked if I could attend the training, although at this point it wouldn't matter. So we might have to wait to get our goals health until another next time, basically, which is a shame, but yeah, they have to take this training, so we'll have to. So I did reach out to the Board of Health though and tell them, like, here's the website for the training, please sign up for it as soon as possible, and please try to remember to take it, and I offered to take it with them. I don't know if that'll help them along, but either way, our silver certification should be good. We won't hear anything back from Sustainable Jersey probably at least for another few weeks.
Okay. What about the youth member?
So the last time I talked to Ed Potasnik here, he said he was going to follow up on it. I reached out to him before the meeting, but I didn't hear back.
I mean, the formal.
Yeah, so we've done what we're supposed to do. We made the language recommendations for changes and gave it to council member Potasnik, and he just has to bring it to the council and basically say, you know, this is what it is, which he said he was going to do at the next meeting, so we're plugging along.
Skip the stuff voluntary programs.
So the good news is that all of the municipal budgets are now in place. So all of our funding's in place. So that just happened last week. So I reached out to Robin. She's on vacation right now, but when she gets back, she's going to give me everything she wants to do for the decal and the signs and everything. And then I can send that to our printer and get a quote on it. And we actually have the money to order it. So as soon as Robin and I work on that, we can start ordering that.
From the Clean Communities Funds?
Yeah, it'll be from the Clean Communities Funds or from, we have printing budget, you know, so we can use that too. But I did check, we can use the Clean Communities Fund, so we're good to go there, and we probably should use that actually. So I'll order it with Robin as soon as we have a chance, but ordering it is just one step of it. Once we have everything, we have to actually, and I know we have connections with the Chamber of Commerce now, but we need to actually like maybe have a meeting with them and figure out how to like deploy it, you know, so.
We need to have the entire campaign.
Yeah.
And load up on the website.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure all that out, yeah.
The curbside composting program, I did send an email last week to Anthony Wu, and their insurance person hasn't gotten back to them. So they're gonna go to they're looking for another insurance company.
Okay.
That's what's holding the whole thing up. They're getting
Alright.
insurance. I think the first one, from what I gathered, the driver they had a problem getting insurance.
Yes, that's what it sounds like,
Because you're not
yeah.
talking just driver's insurance, you're talking liability insurance.
Yes,
And you gotta have something to back it up.
yeah.
We're reporting on it over and over again, and they don't make any progress.
They don't, no,
Yeah.
alright.
And then, any other, old business?
I have one item, if I can just add it, so
Sure.
in my mailbox tonight, so I was telling Paul before, for our partnership that we're gonna do with the Trails Advisory Committee for our Firefly Walk, we're trying to do it with like, you know, information session kind of about light pollution. So I reached out to the Dark Sky International to ask them if they have extra, you know, anything they can send us. So, and when I came out, all I did was fill out a Google form, and when I came in today in my mailbox, these were here. So I'll pass one around, you know, but it's like pamphlets and checklists about why it's important. You can pass one that way. Then they also sent us, I think these are stickers. Let me see. Yeah, these are stickers, so for people that come. So when we have our Trails Advisory, they're definitely having the walk, obviously, and we're gonna have a table there. So as part of that, this one's called 5 Principles for Responsible Outdoor Lighting, and then there's a brochure there. So we can pass these out and the night lights. So we actually have something to have at our table, which will be really good. Let me get the date up here, so I can just tell you, but anyone that can attend, if you want to attend to be at the table, that would be super helpful to talk to people about the importance of light pollution and reducing light pollution, of course. The Trails Advisory Committee has this Firefly Walk every year. Even if you come just because you're interested to see what that's like, it's really, really, really fun. It's at the John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve, which used to be the John Clyde.
What's the date on that?
I'm pulling it up right now. I feel like it's July 9th, but I think I'm wrong, so don't put that in just yet. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. I gotta remember where everything is. Okay, stay with me here for a sec. I feel like I have a separate folder for this, but why do I? All right, give me 1 second here. But anyway, it's at the John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve. It starts at 8 o'clock. And what we usually do is partner with the Franklin Township Astronomy, they're not called the association, but I'm just a club, the Astronomy Club, that's what they're called. Why can't I find, anyway, let me keep looking for the flyer, but we usually partner up with them and we do an observation, usually at night, and then we do the walk. And when you do the walk and all the fireflies come out, it really is beautiful. So, but it's a good thing for us to partner up on this with the Trails Committee because they're always looking for partners. And not only that, it's just a nice thing for us to do and something different, good way to get out of there. Here it is. It's under the way my brain works. Sometimes I have to think, why would I do this? And then I remember there's usually a reason. All of this just to get you the date. Okay.
Okay, Saturday.
July 12th. Saturday, July 12th at 8 o'clock. So anyone who's interested in going from the EC to kind of talk about the light pollution and all of that, I would say probably get there at 7:30, and we'll have a table there. And anyone that wants to come and talk at the table, I know Robin's going, and then you're free to take the walk with everyone, participate in the astronomy observation. They bring their telescopes and everything like that to use, so it's really nice.
It's 7:30 in July, it's still nice and bright.
Yeah, we start out at 8 is when we kind of start out just doing the talking and things like that. And then once it starts 8:15, 8:30, we start walking. That's when you can really kind of see everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that finishes our agenda.
Well, I have one thing. I think all the commissioners received the ANJAC letter, or I guess an email, saying they are offering webinars on sustainable landscaping. Yeah, and I signed up for that. I guess as a commissioner, it doesn't cost you anything. But I think that has great potential, and I don't know how many of you may want to participate, but I'll report back what I find.
Yeah, I registered,
Yeah.
but I will not be able to attend the second one because I have a conflict. So the first one is tomorrow. It's on Tuesdays.
Yeah,
Right.
there we go.
So 3, 10, and 17,
Yeah.
I think.
Exactly.
Walter, I don't remember receiving that. Can you forward that, please?
Yeah, well, okay.
It came from Anjac. Do you get emails from Anjac?
I have.
All right.
Very good.
Just an update. I got an email today from Assemblyman Danielson's office, because I kind of like to, about the junkyard on Wilson. I'm kind of shooting all out there, see what I can get. And I do have a fairly good relationship with Danielson's office. And they said, oh, no, what I was saying. They said it's a municipal issue that, stay here. But then I emailed back because I started thinking, the fact that I drove by and the cars are there, cars need license plates. New Jersey requires 2, front and rear. And the front of those vehicles have no front plate. And then they have no inspection sticker.
That's all folks.
So I think it's state, and then there is a silver truck that goes in and out. It always goes in, I think. Oh, he backs it in. So again, no plate in the front. And that's what I believe he uses for work. That's my assumption. And I just, I emailed back and go, isn't that a state issue? Motor vehicle issue.
You know what the plate is from what state it is on the back?
No, because I would have to trespass, go on his property. He backs in.
I understand, because Pennsylvania
No, I know.
require a plate.
Yeah,
So-
I have no idea unless, are you advocating I trespass? I'm fairly nervy. But, I'm trying to find something, it's like, can we, as I said in my memorandum, can we use eminent domain to go in there and test the soil? Because there are all these containers, I don't know if they're empty. It's like it's just a general mess out there. And then I also mentioned, too, has the township tried going to this man that Mr. Vornlocker said is a contractor, can we help you? I mean, that's what I did in the safety office when I was trying to get compliance. My first avenue was, how can I help you come into compliance? So anyway, so that was my update. Danielson's office answered, Smith's didn't, Egan. I'm trying to get a meeting with Egan for other reasons. It's like Egan Jr., it's like pulling teeth.
He's focused in Piscataway.
What?
He's focused in different towns than Franklin.
You know, if you have a certain territory, you need to serve all your constituents, not just the chosen few. But anyway, and I'm pretty persistent, but you know, there's an election coming up and my vote can be bought. Anyway, I'm done.
I've just remembered one additional thing about the pipeline. I got a notice from Public Citizen, which is a national organization that has umpteen suits against the Trump administration, that they are filing an objection to the resurrection of the pipeline permit. So that could be a significant help.
Okay, great.
That's why I envisioned that all the coalitions will rise up again that we had from before.
With everything that is happening, I'm surprised how many courts do we have. Because what I learned, for example, regarding tariffs, that we have a trade court that decided that the tariffs
Yes,
based
the
on
trade court,
countries
yeah.
are not, they're wrong. They're not legal. But it took them time to make the review and the decision. The day after they said that they have to, that Trump has to stop the tariffs,
They went to appeal court.
there was an appeal court which, before they make a full review, they already reversed the decision
Right.
of the trade court.
Yeah.
So how does it work that someone can make
Well,
the
they
reversal
just
right away?
they put it on hold.
Well, they put the decision on hold, which
Yeah.
means that the tariffs are in place, right? So how does it work that some court can stop right away and then make review, and some first make review and then make the decision?
Well, the appeals court is the one level up above the other court.
Well, I guess that yes.
That's what it is.
Well, you can, courts can produce a hold on enforcing something very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to make a real decision always takes time.
The hearings and all that stuff. So, then we're at the bottom. Motion to open the floor to public comment.
Okay, so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Dan, any closing remarks?
Yeah, one last question. I know Arnie and I were talking about this. The tree, when you all made that new ordinance about trees and the cost of trees, has it been updated? Because it's probably been a couple years old, right?
I think it's
We
over,
talked
yeah.
about that a couple of meetings ago, that weren't you gonna contact them?
Yes, and tell them, and I did talk to Mark Healy about it, but I don't know if they've done anything, so I'll reach out to them.
They're still taking out lots of trees all over the place.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let me write that down again, okay.
That's it. Thank you.
No, we got anything?
Maybe $300 is not enough?
Well, with tariffs, you know. Well, the increased cost of everything, I mean.
That's why you gotta buy
Should be.
native trees.
I know.
That was the answer to that one.
All the prices have gone up with everything, you know.
Yeah, because if Social Security goes up 2.5% per year, which is what it's done this last year, then that might apply to the $300. Raise that up also a couple percent.
And Paul, you mentioned about that third driveway with B9.
Yeah.
Is there any reason why B9 wouldn't want that third
Sure,
driveway?
because they have to get a variance. That's a variance.
Okay.
Two driveways don't require a variance.
Okay, and would that also change anything on the application as far as, you know, the, I guess how much space, like, you know, onto the side, like the driveways, there's only a certain amount of driveways allowed, and they're only supposed to be like, I forget the exact amount of feet, which they're going way over, but does that, having that in the driveway change anything?
No, I don't think so. They have to cut the curb and make but they need a variance, and they try to avoid the planning board's power to do something, to issue a variance, which is why they wanted to split the decision.
How many?
What do you think about that?
Are they worried that the planning board's not gonna give them a variance?
Well, I think the judge really admonished them pretty severely, so I think they're gonna get what they want, but he also said they should do reasonable negotiations. So it applies both ways.
Now, I can't understand why, if we, the planning board, are willing to give them a variance for the third driveway, which we, the planning board, want to have, why they should object. It's just like they want to have a clean sheet of paper. Conceivably, it would give somebody a point to sue about in some way, to object to the variance. I would have to get a lawyer to tell me more.
Well, and I know it's to prevent the left turns, but we have to remember, there's no other warehouses on Schoolhouse Road that have a driveway that prevents anybody from turning left.
Yeah.
So they're the only ones being subjected to that.
Well, that's because they're the furthest along Schoolhouse and furthest from Randolph. The closer you are to the intersection with Randolph, the less reason you have to turn left. But, yeah, obviously we want to keep them from any possibility of going on Metler's Road there.
And what I recently discovered at Canal Walk from a talk was that they had a contingent contract on the MCS 2 property behind there. It was called B9 Weston, I think, but they were going to be buying that whole property to have that 600,000 square foot warehouse, and almost like what I thought from the start, having a big Amazon center, so that the trucks could go from that 600,000 square foot warehouse up through Schoolhouse. But supposedly that contract has been withdrawn, but they had it there all along, which, and of course, they'd have to, that was zoned differently and whatnot, but, my impression always was, even though it's zoned ROL and then it was changed to residential, why would any homes want to be back behind B9? It's going to be hard for people to live there, so. But I was told that everybody, the planning board and the environmental commission, everybody knew that they had that contingent contract all along.
I had heard about it, although only fairly recently.
Right, or not during the hearings or during when you were evaluating it, right. Right, that was kind of a hidden fact, that they had this contingent land that they were planning on.
Howard Cohen said he talked to their attorneys, and their attorney said they dropped the contract. So that's as close as we get. And I suggested before we started the meeting that maybe the Open Space Committee should offer to buy the land where the pond is and make that a preserve or something.
And what was the outcome of that?
Well, it happened 10 minutes,
Just
half hour ago.
suggested to me, yeah. I'll look into it and see if it's,
gotcha.
bring it
Okay.
before the committee, yeah.
If there's a pond there,
Yeah, there's a pond, there is a
can it
pond
be
there.
built on?
That's what
No,
I
it's
asked
wetlands.
them. I said, if it has
If it
zero
can't be-
development potential, we can't buy it,
If it
yeah.
can't be built on, there's really no reason to purchase it.
Well, if it were just a question of running a driveway around the edge of the pond, that might be feasible.
Well, that was the whole thing. There's no driveways on Metler's and,
Yeah, you can't get a driveway on Metler
Yeah.
because of the scenic byway.
so.
We're all becoming land experts. So, thanks.
Thank you,
Dan.
thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Motion to adjourn.
Where do we close?
We motion to close the public.
Oh, we have to do that first. Motion to close.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah,
Motion to close the meeting.
Second? I second.
I never.
Allowed to do that?